No, so like there's always this kind of.
I think 5.
I'm not gonna. I'm a Western Australian player. I'm not picking on Western Australia, but I'm a Western Australian player. I know my other Western Australian players are good. I'm gonna try to not defend them so much as make their life easier for them.
Make their life slightly easier. Yeah, I know what you mean. So what we've got: Wolf, Rogue, Trey.
There you go. Red,
BMW, and Simi. Yeah, so 5.
Yeah. So Red once again very busy. Outside of Red, also very busy. We are seeing a couple players sweeping through Blue there, which is really, really interesting. And we had a couple on the outside of Green, but you can see them just on the left side edge of the Green base, which is really just the back of Red.
Yeah. I am liking the fact that with these games, it's pretty consistently that Blue is pretty quiet.
Yeah.
And then you just have Masters, Red is busy, Juniors, Green is busy. It's like, cool, you get to see how these games sort of play. And like you can almost imagine it for a team game, like you have 3 teams at like one base. Like how is everybody interacting with each other? How are they like stopping, holding their spots? Like those sort of things are fantastic to see in these solo games.
It would be genuinely interesting to ask some of these players afterwards why it was at Red.
Yeah.
Or why it was at Green.
Yeah.
Like what was the thought process there for that being the place? But that aside, Bubbles currently in the lead though.
You said it out loud. Bubbles, I'm sorry.
Minute and a half in, we have a fairly even top of the field here.
Yeah.
So nothing wildly out of character for these games. No one's just streaking away with a really high tag ratio and getting those points. We have everybody from Garn to CV. We even have Master Mopar up there at the moment.
Yeah.
He's had a couple of struggle games. So
again, coming off an injury.
Yeah, no.
So
no.
A little bit of leniency, but also do better, dude. No.
But he's had a couple of rough games, and I feel like he's been playing for long enough that he knows he's probably unlikely to get top 3.
Yeah.
So is he just going for broke and just like I'm just going to get as many points, or has he found something that's like I'm going to stay here.
Let's do this.
This person is points, or this place is points, perhaps.
Exactly.
We're trying to find where he is actually.
Yeah, we're seeing BMW, so we're seeing Brad holding a little bit lower in his games. Again, coming off that injury. The fact he's even still playing is, look, props to him, but dude, your leg does not like this. Simi has been pretty consistently like in that lower mid tier.
Yeah.
I found during these games. Again, like she tends to come out of these games and she's like, like she has some fun with it. A lot of these players don't necessarily play these ones to win. If they happen to get into those like top spots, they're like, oh heck yes. But a lot of this is, as you said, Nickel, time in the maze. You get used to it for your team games. Like, okay, cool. If I'm going out on my own, or if I'm going out with a partner, for the things, I've got a bit more experience in the maze. I know how to deal with like this certain thing happening.
Yeah.
Or I end up on my own for whatever reason.
These are the angles I can use. Things like
exactly.
That. What are the sort of timings I need for being inside of a base and things like that. I just want to know, Bubbles having a bit more of a cracker there, had like a 4 tag streak just there. I know I'm
watching the scoreboard.
Yeah, I know.
I'm waiting for it.
CV's also up there though, and,
there we go.
and just takes over there. Hacking's also having a really nice one as well.
Yeah. Garn has picked up compared to the last 2 games.
Yes.
Garn's picked up again. Those last 2 games were a bit rough for him, but he's picked back up. He's getting back into those top 8 again.
Yeah. I think he was briefly on that top line as well. I think so. If he has a good game here, maybe sort of
might save him for possibly into the top 3. Yeah.
I feel like he's maybe in the top 3, but I don't know if he's done enough to get that first place. I don't even think he's done enough to get his traditional second place. That would be my money.
Rogue, score high. Come on, you can do it.
Stingray also having quite a good game here as well.
Yeah, Stingray's coming. But we have seen Stingray. It was the previous game or the game before that where he was doing super well near the first half of the game. And then just slowly you just started watching him drop. And it was like, uh-oh, what's happened? Like, as he started getting sat on, what's going on?
Sat on, maybe, the game came to him a little bit or moved away potentially and forced him to move out of a spot that he was comfortable in. I'm just going to flick this over to the arena cameras just to give an idea. We are seeing a bit of movement through the arena there.
Yeah.
Maybe a little bit more than we have in previous games as players try to work out what they're doing.
Well done. Member leveled up. Well done.
Or trying to find the spot that they can play with. Again, maybe using it as time in the maze now because they realize they're not going to win.
I was about to say, for a couple of players, I feel like they're coming into this, they're figuring out exactly what I was saying about before. When it came to my solos game, halfway through it, I knew I was not winning at all. It became, all right, I'll do some like triangle training in red. Like, let's get used to like
Member
that the
leveled
default
up.
spot,
Well
like
done.
sniping people out, like just like covering
Oh.
in that spot, getting used to that.
Who's in that triangle at the
That
moment? Is
triangle, that's Stingray.
That Stingray had a bit of a rough one there. Kind
Mm.
of maybe. I mean, he's still at third, so he can't be doing too badly.
He's not doing
But-
too bad, but I also feel like he got sat on there a bit. So
Yeah.
whoever that is, that's like just against that wall, was sitting on him pretty heavily.
And he missed that duel there, which
Yeah.
maybe he should have been like, get 1 for 1. It's
Member
usually
leveled
okay
up.
if you're both coming up
Well
at the same
done.
time. Bubbles is I haven't done the math, and I'm sure someone in the chat will have done it. If you have done it in the chat, do not post it.
Yeah, please don't post it, guys.
Please don't post it. We get
Member
that you guys have
leveled
done
up.
it, but don't post it
Well
in the
done.
chat.
We believe everybody watching is
Member
smart. You don't
leveled
need to
up.
prove it.
Well done.
But I haven't got
Member
any paper
leveled
in
up.
front of me,
Member
but
leveled
I've
done.
put my money
Well
on
done.
Bubbles with the most consistent, almost
Really
point-
consistent thing.
consistent high scoring games. He's had a couple of little ones.
I will say Arbel has struggled the last 2 games. It's
Yeah.
possibly what you were saying, the mental load of it, and then even the exhaustion of getting into your 4th game and just going,
Yeah.
oh my gosh, I've still got this one and another one to play after this. I'm tired. I want to sleep.
The other thing is, if you feel like Marble had a
Member
good
leveled
first
up.
few games and
Well
had a couple
done.
rough ones. If perhaps he misread one of his better ones or
Yeah.
a particularly bad one, you might go into this last game going, well, I've stuffed up
Member
2
leveled
or
up.
3 games
Well
now,
done.
and therefore, even if you might not have, right?
Yeah.
Goes back to your point about trying not to let it affect you unduly, because maybe you've misdone it. Maybe you've misread your own game. With a minute left to go, we've got Bubbles at top. Stingray's still having
Member
a
leveled
cracker
up.
of a game. CB
Well
is
done.
consistently in that sort of
Top 3.
top 3,
Yeah.
but like that 4 to that sort of mid 4s. He's
Arbel
obviously
has
creeping up the now.
Pretty
as well.
much been in 11th spot for, I think, most of this game.
Yeah.
Rogue has dropped a bit.
I was going to say Garner's dropped a bit. Rogue has dropped a bit. Moo's done really quite well this game as well, but again, maybe a little bit too inconsistent
Yeah.
through the pool. I feel like we're going to be looking at this going, it's probably a CV, Bubbles, but who is that third person in that sort of top 3?
Currently looking at difference. Rogue is currently on 4,000. Beefy is currently at 3,700. You can sort of see like where like the divide starts to show.
Yeah.
We've got like 6 seconds left.
Yeah. You're
It's
looking,
Bubbles and CB fighting for that first.
that tag ratio is almost
Game
where
over. Please
Yeah.
proceed to
Like-
exit.
Yeah,
So-
Bubbles catches a second first against CB.
and Bubbles has had a good.
Master Bubbles?
Yeah. Do we have Master Bubbles?
Do we have Master Bubbles? I'm scared. I would say fantastic work by just. Oh my gosh, Simi's 5th.
cracker game for Simi?
Cracker
right
game
now.
for Simi. Unfortunately,
But-
probably the drop one,
But
but
this is fascinating though, because
Yeah.
she might drop that, but it's forced other people out of those.
Yeah.
Like she's clearly done really well there. So kudos to her for that, regardless. But it means people, our rogues
Yeah.
and able to
Bubbles.
maybe
Yeah.
have been up there,
Yeah.
got pushed out, and
The-
has that thrown them?
I was about to say the players. Ooh, sorry, something in my throat. The players you traditionally see in those spots being forced out of them is fantastic to see. Like, it's fantastic to see the dynamic of somebody. Again, what you were saying. If you're having